Hello, welcome back. It's the morning of day 3 of our slightly ill-fated motorbike trip to Europe, a long weekend. Yesterday, I think it's fair to say, went about as well as my attempts to become a flightless Antarctic bird by eating lots of chocolate biscuits. It didn't work out so well. I left my luggage at the Nürburgring. That added 2 hours to our journey, and then we didn't get to go to the Moehnesee Dam because it was about 7 p.m. by the time we got here to the lovely Hotel Menge. Which has now got a baby shower with lots of hormonal German grandparents drinking champagne at 9 a.m, but I'm not one to judge. So yeah, we're going to see the Moehnesee Dam this morning. It's just around the corner. That's the dam that was destroyed by the Dambusters in 1943. I'll talk about that in a minute. MT-10 SP is doing amazingly. It's doing about 3 litres more of fuel per 120 miles than my friend's Street Triple. I ended up in bed with my friend last night because I accidentally booked this hotel for a month's time. So we shared a double bed. I was the big spoon, it was fine, but this bike is more than fine. It's brilliant, it makes a great noise, it's very fast, it's brilliant at high speed. 153 miles an hour, we saw yesterday on the Autobahn, GPS indicated that's VMAX, it wasn't going any faster. And I'm really, really happy with it, but not as happy as I'm going to be when we get on some twisty roads and doing some military history today. And then, after we've done the dam this morning, we're going to head east on the Autobahn for 2 hours to get to the Harz Mountains, which is a really nice area I explored back in 2018, before I did YouTube, so I want to show you all the good roads around there, and then just see what we find. Let's go, before my arm falls off. Right, we're currently on the B229, which is the road between where we stayed last night in Arn something, and Arnberg maybe, and the Moehnesee Dam. So imagine, if you will, have 5 or 6 Lancaster bombers driving down this road to attack a dam in May 1943. You just can't believe it, can you? That's because they flew. We'd invented flight by that point in the war. We sent our brave young lads to go and knock out the German dams, or at least try to. But we'll talk about that more seriously in a minute. But this road, for now, is very nice. Though I am on cold tyres, so I'm taking it a little bit easy. Oh, this is very nice. So yeah, we're actually heading to a bakery first, because I've not had breakfast. I get a bit angry if I've not had an Apfeltasche before I do some videoing. Oh, I can smell the beautiful forest. This is what you get when you tour on a motorbike, not in a car. Little lake there. Oh, how wunderschön is this? 10 a.m. Slightly slow start because I had a kebab last night, and that delayed things a little bit. Fill in the blanks with your imagination. Oh my goodness, it's not just an Arteon shooting brake, it's an Arteon shooting brake R. Mit der Quad Pipes und 320 Pferdestärke. One bit of touring advice I've never really spoken about is using these things. I'm using a Cardo Pack Talk Edge to talk to David, who's behind me. Oh my god, he's bloody centered! Yes, I didn't buy the Schnell version to put it around. And this is the part of the trip where we find out that the German police in this area exclusively use Arteon shooting brake Harz. Oh my goodness, there it is. The dam is around the corner that way, I think. We're at the eastern end of Moehnesee, so it's almost Y-shaped lake, I think. You can see on the sat nav there. So we're going across the little island in the middle. Lots of parking spots if you want to take a hike in the surrounding woodland, whose tyres have warmed up quite quickly. Metzler Road Tech 02s, they're performing very well indeed. I have to say, it's a beautiful blooming lake. I'm going to have to not stand on the dam and imagine lines of Tipex drawn on celluloid coming towards me as a Lancaster bomb aimer. Did I say drawn on celluloid or drawn on cellulite? Because that's something different. That's my other website. And if you've watched the Dambusters film, then, well, hopefully you have. That's all I can say, really. It's a classic of its time. Obviously it's problematic in some ways, notably the use of a certain dog's name, but we won't go into that during this portion of the video because I don't want to be demonetized. So wow, it's super smooth, the surface of the lake right now. Someone fishing in a small fishing boat. There's a tower, there's some great motorbikes. Can we see it? Bloody hell, it's quite evocative actually, imagining the Lancasters flying over here. At 18 meters was the height they had to drop their bouncing bombs from. 18 meters isn't very much when you're in a plane, is it? Right, I'm just going to fill up with some food, then we'll come back and talk about the significance of that, and that having a hole in the middle of it. Right, I've just had breakfast over there in that lovely cafe in the village next to the Moehnesee Dam, but over the road is this war memorial, which I'm always interested in war memorials, but this one's especially interesting because it's doing a lot of things at once. So over here, I'm not sure if this is going to show, it's a bit dark. I've got a memorial here to the builders who died reconstructing the Moehnesee Dam between 20th of May 1943 and 5th of May 1945. So I'm going to take a wild guess here that it was rebuilt using slave labour, given what was going on at the time. Over here as well, you've got some German memorials to victims of both world wars, the victims of the Moehnesee catastrophe, so when the dam was breached, all the civilians that died. And down the bottom, victim of the euthanasia programme, Franz Hirschoff, died on the 12th of February 1944. So yeah, a lot of things going on here. There's also victims of War of 1870 as well. So it's worth having a look at these if you see them by the side of the road, because there's often more than first meets the eye. Right, here we are on the Moehnesee. The Moehnesee Lake, famous for the Moehnesee Dam, which was breached on the night of the 16th, 17th May 1943. Now, if you're not familiar with the story of the Dambusters, and I'm sure you are, basically, we sent over, I think it was 19 Lancasters to attack a couple of dams in the Ruhr Valley. And the idea was to skip a bouncing bomb, which was technically a mine, across the water to avoid the anti-torpedo nets. And the dam was obviously heavily fortified with anti-aircraft defences and things like that. And in the attacks, 8 Lancasters were lost, 53 aircrew perished, and 2 dams were breached. This one, the Moehnesee was breached entirely, and I think the Ada was. The Sorpa nearby here was damaged. But yeah, let's go and have a look and see what it looks like up close. Well, as someone that grew up on the Dambusters film, it feels amazing to be standing here. It's just like really sending chills down my spine. Now, we're in the middle of the dam, near enough the middle of the dam. There would have been anti-aircraft guns here, manned by presumably young German lads as well. And we've been faced by Lancaster bombers coming screaming in from this direction at 240 miles an hour, 18 metres above the water, using those spotlights to judge the height. In the film, I think they said those spotlights were invented by being in a theatre and looking at the spotlights on the stage, but actually they were using that system already to land flying boats on water. So it wasn't a new thing, but you can see quite far across that lake. But imagine when you're flying at 240 miles an hour, getting down to 18 metres would have taken a hell of a lot of balls, especially in the face of all the flak coming up at them. But anyway, yeah, they dropped the bouncing bombs, which were technically mines. I think they were filled with about 3.4 tonnes of Torpex. Would have bounced with backspin, hit the wall here, and then sunk down to explode at the base of the dam. Obviously the famous Guy Gibson VC, he was first in leading the squadron. He was 24 doing this. His missed, well, it didn't miss, it just didn't damage the dam. And then he flew top cover, basically as a master bomber, distracting the flak crews while the other bombers came in. Second one to come in was M for Mother, flown by John Hopgood, Hoppy Hopgood. He got caught in the blast of his own bomb and got hit by flak, and his wing disintegrated about 3 miles over there, and he crashed in a field and he died. He was 21. 21, and he missed his place at Cambridge University. Yeah, it's just really sobering to think of all the young men coming to attack this dam, losing their lives. So yeah, it's a fascinating place, and just being here, honestly, is something else. You don't really get the sense of scale until you see how big the drop is down here. Absolutely massive, and obviously it was rebuilt really quickly as well. But yeah, there's lots of arguments about how effective it was at damaging Germany's industrial output, but what a concept. Proper weird out of the box British thinking by Barnes Wallis. But anyway, should we get on the motorbike trip? Probably should. I should probably talk about something we've noticed as we've got older, as we both approach 40. Tours have changed slightly. They've become a bit more about planning your coffee stops and planning your wee breaks, and also just being a bit more tired at the end of each day and having to not forget stupid things like leaving your rucksack 2 hours away and that sort of thing. We're definitely not quite the young go-getters we used to be. We can ride faster, but we have to take a little time for ourselves and, you know, have a little moment in the toilet. I don't mean masturbating in a German public lavatory. Never done it this week. So yeah,
It's a bit different. But anyway, we're about to do a couple of hours of Autobahn. We'll see you in the Harz Mountains. It's going to be lovely. I can't get over how beautiful Germany is when it's not pissing it down. It just feels huge. I wonder how many bears there are in those forests. Stashes of hidden Nazi gold. Passats breaking the speed limit. I would normally say that Autobahn that is de-restricted is more the exception than the rule, but in this part of Germany this morning it has mostly been de-restricted. Right, you joined me on the K414, I think it is. It's a little road getting into the western edge of the Harz Mountains. So it's at about 37 miles away, and we are actually aiming for a speciality German restaurant that we've not visited once on this trip. Actually, it is a local chain. It is signified by two golden arches, and somehow we've avoided it so far. Oh dear, motorbikes are fun. It's also odd having hairpins in the middle of nowhere in a reasonably flat bit of the country, but I'm not arguing. Ooh, it promises wild deer running in front of me. That'd be a good addition to the MT-10's visual identity. Some antlers. Ah, golfers. Gonna take another man's balls to the face. Might as well do it while it's sunny. This road is really good. It's a bit black foresty. It's got some surprise tightening corners, but you know, it's all part of the fun, isn't it? Definitely bears. Don't want a bear mid-corner, do you? Or like last year's tour where I saw a man's bare willy in the middle of a hairpin. What an epic road! It's a bit patchwork, the road surface, but it's all smooth. And it's got a nice mix of corners. You've got flowy ones, you've got tight ones. And to think that at the end of this road is chicken nuggets. What's not to like? What's not to like? Wheelies. Little dainty wheelies. Slightly bigger wheelies. That was the road to Süterode. That teddy bear's got ear defenders on. He looks like he's hung himself though. That's a bit dark. Lunch update. We've tried to go to 2 different McDonald's and they've both been shut, like completely shut. One's brand new and the one we've just driven 20 miles to go to is in a zip-up bag and is being refurbished. So we've been saved from McDonald's, but unfortunately it's a bit late in the day. It's nearly 2 o'clock and the only lunch place left open is a kebab house. So we've been saved from an unhealthy McDonald's and forced into the arms of a nice warm dinner. Wow. We've dispatched a kebab and now we're trekking eastwards across the middle of the Harz Mountains towards the Braunlager where we're staying tonight. It's a sunny Saturday. I'm half expecting there to be lots of pollet size, so I'm being a little bit sensible, but I think the scenery is worth taking in. It's quite barren, lots of trees that have shed their greenery. David, who I'm riding with, just said it looked a bit like Wales. I am inclined to agree. It's very nice. So this is the B242. It's a bit like a dual carriageway, but it's a very pretty one. Winding its way through the mountains, just fast enough that you have to pay attention. We're still on the 242. It's kind of like a bit like the good old days in the B500 near Baden-Baden. Lots of flowing sweepers. You could just sit in 4th gear, doing 60 miles an hour and just flow, no braking, no hard accelerating until you catch up with a car. And to be fair, it's the first car we've caught up with in a while. Really nice here. It's not like you can't ride at 1,000,000 miles an hour on that road, because if the police wanted to nab you they could do it from about 3 miles away, but it's nice. Hi, hey, you're all cool dudes. Oh, look at this. Look at that lake. Isn't it great? Right, we've dumped our stuff off at the Airbnb type place we're staying at. And now we're going out for an afternoon without luggage to explore the Harz region. It feels like the Black Forest, but you can do the normal speed still. It's quite nice. It's a lovely flowing roads. It's got some hairpins. It's got some cheeky tighteners. It's got some bumpy ones. It's got some brakey ones. It's got some pedestrians in the roady ones. It's all good. It's got it all. And we are heading to one of those summer roller coaster things. Summer Rodelbahn. They're great fun. They're mostly for children, but also overgrown children like me quite enjoy them as well. So you control the brakes and basically do a little roller coaster on your own. Oof, my ears are popping. I can't read the letters out that are on the start, the number plate of this Mercedes, because I'll get demonetized for being racist. I don't want to go all old man shouts at clouds, but this road that we're on is beautiful. It's like the Pamela Anderson in the 90s of roads. But the whole thing is a 37-mile-an-hour speed limit. I know I shouldn't whinge about speed limits, and I have just accidentally set off a speed camera. This particular road, the B242 I think it is, or the one before that, is very nice, but it's a 60 limit kilometers an hour. Not sure why, but I'm sure someone has got a good reason. Probably so you don't murder children by accident. Challenge yourself to not drop below 40 miles an hour and have a crash on a hairpin. Today's minor mishap is that we've accidentally ridden up a forestry path to get to what we thought was a summer toboggan run. And we literally got all the way to the top, and there's a barrier at the top and says, oh no, sorry, you've got to go back down the other side of the mountain into another town, get on a cable car and come back up. And we were literally within 2 meters of the entrance of this place. We could see it, and we could have ridden our bikes around the barrier, but there was a man there. So well, we're not going to do that. I think we should replace the fun summer toboggan run with a war cemetery and some twisty roads. Let's go and do that. It is very pretty here though. Oh, yeah, my fork seals, I don't think it's very pretty. I mean, this is gorgeous. Like, look at this. Isn't that like totally amazing? You can see the road down there. Flick, flack. Und dann flick und flappen. Look at this. This is just outrageously pretty. And the road surfaces are just amazing. This is a busy sunny weekend, and it's not crazy busy. Yes, there are lots of bikers about, but how many have I seen in the past couple of minutes? 3? So yeah, Harz Mountains gets a solid 9 out of 10 from me. Last time I came here, I said earlier I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to do it in this video, but there is Dora Mittelbau concentration camp as well, where they built V2 rockets underground the caves. So if you're after your World War II history, slightly depressing, then you go and do that while you're here. But yeah, and then if you want to, it's a couple of 100 miles, not far really, east, and you can get to Berlin, which is what I did last time. And you can ride your bike through Berlin, go to Berghain wearing your one-piece leathers, and have a great time. Probably one that you'll have to forget if you want to continue the rest of your life without sweating in your sleep. But yeah, look at this. Nice. I'm trying to think of a name for our bus company, but I can't think of anything. Well, what kind of man are you? Oh, I like boobs. Do I like... I don't know what to call it. Oh, you're going up there as well, are you? Well, you can pull your fucking indicators out of your ass, man, can't you? Fucking hell. Oh, you've absolutely fucked it, haven't you?
So if you might have guessed, I love the Harz Mountains. The riding around here is amazing. It's really good, even on a busy weekend. The roads are smooth. Some of them have 70 km/h limits, but you can go faster on quite a few others, and it's a load of fun. However, I've just found a little Second World War cemetery near Torf House, T-O-R-F House, which is up this track basically off the main road. It's about 300 meters up there. I didn't film up there because it was so peaceful. I didn't want to be that twat vlogging in a war cemetery, but it's a German war cemetery with 99 dead German soldiers from the very end of the Second World War, April 1945. And there's a little sign there in German to tell you what it's all about. Basically in Torf House, the Americans rolled through and there was a ton of resistance in Torf House from the local Waffen-SS, Hitler Youth and local Volkssturm, which, if you don't know, is basically the young boys and old men who were drafted in at the end of the war to basically set up barricades with Panzerschrecks and Panzerfausts to try and stop the American advance. And walking around that cemetery, there's 17-year-olds, there's 20-year-olds, there's really young men who have died doing battle, as well as about 19 unknown Russians up there as well. So they apparently were prisoners of war who died in transport in this area as well. So it's, yeah, I think they basically collected all the bodies from the fighting around the area and brought them here. But it's really out of the way. You wouldn't know it's there unless you looked on a map and then marched up this road about 300 meters. And it's just incredibly peaceful. But anyway, that's probably the end of today's riding. Tomorrow is day 4. Sunday, we're going to head back west towards probably the Nürburgring, that sort of area. We'll stay around there. We're going to do a lot of autobahn, so you might not see much of that. But then we'll find some more twisty roads and hopefully some interesting stuff to look at. So stay tuned. See you then.
It's a bit like you're riding through one giant majestic centre parks.
Alright, we're in the Hürtgen forest. Now, I think this is fairly obvious, but I would have been absolutely rubbish in the time of war because I've literally just walked straight past it.
I'm just being a fanny. I just don't want water on the inside of my visor. It's the worst.